Hello everybody and welcome back to Juno, where as you can see I'm working on our drive around at this point. And this spot that I've found here pretty well confirms my theory that the issue with the physics is when we're going from tile to tile. You can see it always happens right in a line right here. We're going in a circle currently right over where the seam is. And that's the issue. So that's definitely a physics bug. There's no doubt about it. Now, of course, I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing. I just added a pitch and a yaw slider, so we're just driving in a circle right now. But well, let's get out of here for now. Let's go out over this way, and we can start driving here, and there won't be any problems. So we're in 2x speed here, and we're just going to get it done this way since we have some physics issues that prevent us from getting this done any faster. It's going to take a bit, but here we are. But it's nice and automated, so at least nobody actually has to pay attention to this. And we just do this forever. Well, not forever, but for another, 15 kilometers. See you guys in a few minutes. Okay, so I upped our turn radius, or rather, dropped the turn radius? I dropped the yaw down to 33%, and that allows us to cruise along at 25-26 meters per second in this circle, and we're about half a kilometer away from finishing up this mission. So that looks great. So we are, in theory, done now. Excellent. Let's get rid of this, and let's put on our brakes, because we need to end this flight. Okay, we're going to recover this craft. We're going to get 90k back from that, and that is now completed. So let's see what we've got here. Let's see, heliosynchronous orbit, huh? Using orbital precession to maintain the orbit position relative to the sun throughout an entire year. So this is an apoapsis and periapsis of 1,000 kilometers and an inclination of 100 degrees. Okay. This game's physics aren't that fancy, but it's a cool orbit no matter what, huh? Okay, well, we'll accept this. We're not going to do this, I think, on this launch, because we're going to need to get some inclination set up. We could definitely do that, though, now that I think about it. 1,000 to 1,000 would be pushing it for our current craft. But I think there's a theoretical possibility that we could do it. So we've got these two here that are going to relatively high orbit, and we need 9 total CubeSats on it. I do want to go into the tech tree and see about unlocking the map view. That would be a reasonable thing. So we've got orbital maneuvers here, giving us monoprop, RCS nozzle, multi-directional RCS. That's not really what I'm looking for. Where would we find a map? Where indeed? It would probably be somewhere up here, would be my guess. So soft landing, overcomplicating things. The Soyuz interstage, part style, huh? Side interstage as well. Ah, that would be a useful thing to have, actually. Let's grab that. So that looks good. What else do we need here? Well, heat shields might be useful later. I'm going to grab it for now. And then we've got hard skin. Where do we need to go for the map, though? Is there anywhere that we can search here? Charts? Plan maneuvers. That sounds pretty good. So we would need, system engineers here. Display orbit lines. Novice managers. Enable map view. Okay, so we got to go this way. So we want to grab system engineers. We're going to take that. And then Gantt charts, ideally, to be able to plan maneuvers. So that should be pretty decent. So at this point, we can add in some side boosters to our current rocket if we wanted to get further. I don't think we need to at this moment, so we're going to load up new. There we go. And we need to put in some CubeSats. So we've got 2 right now. How do we assign these to particular things? And we need 9 in total, right? So I want to do... Right, symmetry is not enabled for that. Okay, so what I want to do right now, then, is I want to do, that's 5. That's 9. It's not perfectly spread out, but it's probably good enough for now. Okay, so how do I assign each of these to a particular contract? Ah, I see. It can be auto-assigned. So this one is CubeSat mission number 32. And this would be CubeSat mission number 32. So that's 2. And then this would be number 33. So these are going to have to be staged somewhat differently. So it would need 7 assigned to 33. Like so. So that is currently 6 and 7. So those are now assigned correctly. And then we're going to have to go through the staging. So I would like to add a stage here. And I would like to have this be... Oh, this doesn't tell us which is which. Well, I think it should be these two. Yes. Okay, so which one goes higher is the question we need to ask. Let's put the nose cone back on, and I'm going to save this craft. Now, yes, go ahead and overwrite that. Now, I want to exit the designer, and I want to check which one is going to be deployed first. So we want to hop in here. No, hang on. We can actually get more of these now. Yeah, we can have up to 9 jobs. Okay, that's noted. 30 million for a Luna flyby. Oh my. Okay. Fast roller and another endurance trip. 125 kilometers? Okay, that's going to take a little bit. That's okay. We can get these done eventually. Must be completed within 60 days. Can no longer be accepted after 30. So, village race here. Go through all checkpoints in under 6 minutes. That's probably a doable thing as well. But for right now, what I want to do is I want to get these done. So 2 sats are going to be higher. The 7 sats are going to be lower. Okay, so let's hop in here and let's check our staging. We need to flop these. No, this is correct. The 7 sats are lower. The 2 sats are higher. Okay, looks good. So we are now going to launch this guy. And I want this to be in... I want to just check here. Wow, there's a lot of environments here. Okay, so Drew, 0. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, let's launch this, and we can have this be on the village pad, which is much cheaper. And that is indeed exactly what we're going to do. Yeah, this is 15 times more expensive on the alley pad, but we would be able to have a larger rocket there. So that's noted. We want this to be from the village pad. Issues. Too many parts are referencing the same contract. Okay. I thought we had fixed that. Maybe we need to flip these around. So these would go to 33. And then these would go to 32. That might be what we've got going on here. Okay, so that's 6 and 7. Okay, so that should be 33, and one of these... Okay, this one's on auto. This one should be 32 then, and this one should be 33. Okay. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, fantastic. So we need to get the 2 then first. So we need 2 CubeSats, and this is going to be... No, we need the 7 first. Right. I want to double check our staging. I don't think we can do that here, actually. So let's end this flight quick, and let's make sure that this is going to be correctly staged. So we're doing the 7 first, and then we're doing the 2. Yes. That is correct. Okay, we launch this, and we're going to be setting a target orbit here of about 300 by 300, and then this is going to have to go up a little bit. That's not too bad. Okay, let's throttle up, and let's get out of here, setting our pitch over to about 70 degrees. I think that's reasonably fine. Okay, off we go here. Excellent. So we have no inclination requirements here. We now have access to the map mode, which is good. And in theory, we should have access to orbital planning, which will be useful as well. So let's just push our apoapsis here by burning I think purely prograde for the time being. Let's just lock prograde. And let's burn this up to 297 and see if we can set up a maneuver for getting this up to a periapsis of 288. And then we'll deploy the 7 CubeSats and we'll look to do CubeSat mission number 33. That'll be the idea here. And then this Juno synchronous orbit here, that'll be interesting. We're going to need a more powerful rocket than what we've got here. That's fine. We can definitely do that at this point. So we're going to be staging this shortly. We're just eking out the last little bit of SRB power that we can, and off we go. Okay, just continuing to burn prograde here until we reach, well, 290-ish kilometers. We'll need to get a whole lot of speed up for that, and that is A-okay. So we're just pushing out this prograde marker as much as we can for now. All looks good. Our apoapsis technically qualifies already because it's so close, but we're just going to bring this guy right on up, and let's position this at 297. I don't want to call this good enough, even though it would be. So we're just going to continue to burn prograde here for now. And as we go up, we will get more and more horizontal speed burning prograde. That is absolutely fine. I just want to see how the maneuver system works. If it's very similar to KSP or if it works differently. We'll find out. But for now, we're just continuing to burn for another roughly 200 kilometers almost. 190. Cool. We can see our thrust to weight ratio is nice and positive at this moment, but we're going to need to redesign this rocket as we start to get out of these low orbit contracts, and that's fine. We are absolutely expecting that. We could add just a couple of side boosters and get a lot more distance out of it, to be honest. We can add some SRBs on the side, and this will go a lot further if we do that. Cool. So we're at 135 kilometer apoapsis right now, and continuing to push that up. We can see that we're about 1.7 minutes to the apoapsis right now. 1.8, yeah, that's going up nicely. And our surface velocity isn't fantastic, but we should be in orbital mode, for sure. Let's pitch down that nose just a little bit and get that orbital velocity increased. Cool. We are definitely out of the atmosphere at this point, and our thrust to weight ratio is now reaching 2.0. That's looking pretty good. And we're going to have no problem reaching this orbit. The next orbit, we'll see what we've got for fuel. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. Okay, so we need about another 100 kilometers of apoapsis here. That's okay. Our orbital velocity is definitely getting up there, and we will be achieving orbital velocity soon enough. We're going to start to see that apoapsis going up very quickly soon, as this orbital velocity continues to increase. But we're just targeting 297 here. So that is 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, and 297. Beautiful. Engine shut down. We're not at orbital speed right now, but we want to go to our apoapsis here. Planned burn at apoapsis. That's convenient. And we want to bring this right on out. And we want to have this go up to 288 kilometers. That is quite a lot of DV. Okay, that's noted. Well, we don't need this to go quite that high up, obviously. So we're going to bring this down to 288. And yeah, this system works a lot like how it does in KSP. So 288. Ooh, that's kind of sensitive, but that's it right there. Okay, so that looks fine. Now, do we auto-execute the burn? This would be the maneuver node. Yeah, that's the planned burn down there. Okay, and the meters per second on that planned burn is 948. Okay, so we definitely have some maneuver meter per second left over after that. That looks good. Hopefully, we have enough. But for now, we should just warp up to this maneuver. And the question is, how do we warp to this? So this is our planned burn right now. We'll be there in 3.3 minutes. And I don't know if there's any sort of, like, auto completion of it. There probably is at some point, but we may not have that unlocked at this point. So I'm wondering, autopilot exists down here, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. Can we see the planned maneuver in any of this? So that's the flight info there. That's the activation panel, flight log, and translation mode. So we might have to be in the map view to view the planned maneuver. And yeah, you can see we're at a bit of an inclination here right now. So if we are in our map info, we can look at the orbital details. We can see our eccentricity doesn't exist because we're not in orbit. Our inclination is 25.65 degrees. That is absolutely noted. Okay, so we're going to need to commence this burn, I'm assuming when this number says. So let's warp forward a little bit. We've got about 2 minutes to go here. 80 seconds. 60. 40. Okay. So I want to look at the nav ball. Okay, so that would be the maneuver node right there. Looks good. So this is now locked, presumably because we're too close. We're going to arrive at this in presumably 18 seconds, and this shows us our completion of our burn time, I think. Okay, so we need to start this in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. If I'm reading this correctly, that's when we need to start this burn. It is telling us how long our burn time is, so maybe we have to move it back by half. Because that might have just been telling us when we arrived at the node. So we'll see. We're 75% done with this burn. 90%. And that's the burn completed. Okay, so we can see that we're a little bit off in this. I'm not going to be too concerned about that. We could fix it, but for the moment, I think we're going to call this good. So how do we get rid of this node here? Okay. I'm not sure how we get rid of this maneuver node. I think it's over, though, in theory. Maybe. It's still here, actually. Interesting. Well, let's just lock our velocity prograde for right now, and we need to detach CubeSats. So we need to detach 7 CubeSats here, in theory. Okay, so there's that mission completed. Now what we're going to need to do, technically we qualify for this other one as well, but I do want to raise our apoapsis a bit. So let's see here. This must be ascending and descending nodes. Maybe this is based on our current maneuver plan that we still do technically have here. And I'm still not sure how we get rid of it. It is apparently locked, and so that's exciting. I wonder if this is due to communications? But that shouldn't be the case, I don't think. That's how we get rid of it. Okay. So this is going to be at the Actually, no, hang on. This is still here. This planned burn still exists, and we get rid of it like that. Gotcha. That makes sense. So this is going to be at the periapsis. So we're going to do a planned burn at the periapsis. We don't actually have to select it there, it looks like. But we need to bring this up to 468 kilometers. That seems fine. So 468 would be somewhere around, we can't scroll it like that. Okay, that's noted. We're going to call that good enough. That'll be fine for now. Okay, so let's orient for that maneuver. And then we're going to warp to it. There must be a way to warp to the maneuver. Yes, warp playercraft to the next node. Oh, we could also have it toggle an auto burn like this. Okay, let's try out the auto burn and see how that goes. Neat. Okay, that'll be fine. So we're off by 1 kilometer here. I'm not going to be too worried about that. And 372. Okay, so at the apoapsis, we would want to burn prograde again. And just bring this up to about 372, which would be somewhere like this. This is a little hard to get this completely fine-tuned. This is probably close enough. So then we can auto-warp around. And it should commence this burn now. It burned it slightly before this arrival time. But this is now very, very close to our target orbit. And at this point, we should deploy these 2 CubeSats. And there we go. There's both of those finished. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Let's end this flight. And we're not going to recover the craft, of course. We don't have anything to recover. And at this point, the question is, what are we going to do next in our career? Because we have a lot of options now. So these are more CubeSat missions. Drew Orbit, this is pretty easy indeed. I'm guessing that these are all one-time completion, because if we go into... We can refresh contracts or show rejected. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. So there are a number of these that we can select. Fast Roller would be certainly interesting. If we were to select this, I would probably make our car become rocket-powered at this point. 111 meters per second. The main question is, would that be a doable thing, right? I mean, it probably would. Let's accept this for now. I'm going to go into our build here, and I'm going to load up our car. So let's load the craft. We're going to load car, but I want to save this as a different craft. So this is going to be rocket car. Okay. Now I want to select each of these wheels, and I want to get rid of all of the torque. I want these to be rollers only. Basically no motor in any of them. Like this. And turning angle is fine. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to detach this. In fact, we can get rid of that. I'm going to get this guy out of here, and I want to increase the size of our radius here. That'll be fine. And from here, we could definitely increase the size of, not you. We'd increase the size of this as well. There we go. That's quasi-okay, I suppose. And then we would look to put in some SRBs on this. So I would put in a SRB here, and then we would probably look to have this be in some sort of a symmetry mode. Maybe like 4 of them? I'm not sure what that thrust to weight is going to look like. 0.43? Okay, we might want a few more than that. So let's put it in 6x symmetry, and let's also put one dead in the center, like that. So this is now 0.75x. We'll see how that ends up going. I'm going to put our guy back here. He's going to be very safe. This is an extremely safe thing that we're asking him to do here. And let's put this out on the alley pad, because we want to get up one or more potential issues. What issues? Oh, we don't have solid? Right, this is a battery. I want this to be not a battery. In fact, we can get rid of these wheels. I want this to be not a battery, but in fact a fuel tank. So we need to detach this. We need to get rid of this. And then we need this to be a fuel tank now instead of a battery. So this is going to be a fuel tank here. And then I'm going to move this back like this and then slightly embiggen like so. Like that. And then this guy would go on right about here, not at 105 degrees, but at 90. And then this guy would go on back here at about 90 as well. But that is obviously too big. So we're going to need to scale this down to be about here. And then up this way, we're going to need to scale it down just a smidge. About like that. And then we're going to need to grab these guys and put them back on. Helps if they're attached. And apparently the symmetry turned off here because it's not actually attached. Okay, that'll do it. So that'll be fine for now. We'll get this guy turned around where he will be, of course, exceptionally safe. Have to have him selected. There we go. And in theory, that should be fine, but we need to put our rocket engines back on. So we're going to do SRBs, and we're going to put that in radial X6. And then I'm going to have a second a second set of SRBs. For now, that's just going to be the one. Okay, let's put this out here on the alley pad. And I am going to actually give these front wheels a very, very, very tiny amount of torque. Actually, the main issue here is we're going to be in the wrong orientation, right? So if we selected this, we could... Ooh, hang on. We would need to select the entire craft, I think. Okay, let's detach this and reattach. Okay. Well, this is very awkward. Very awkward indeed. So this is the forward vector out over here. So I want to turn this entire craft around to be going like this. Sure? I guess that works. Okay, let's put that out on the alley pad. And let's see how this goes. I don't expect this to go well. What way are we facing? Sure. Let's see if we can turn. We kind of turned. Okay. We're ramping up this speed. And we need to stay grounded here. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We now need to go the correct speed and hold it for at least 5 seconds. 3, 4. Ooh, okay. So we hit the bug there. But this is definitely going to be a theoretical possibility. I guess we're going this way now. Sure. So we need to get back up to speed. And it's a little hard to see where we're going here. And we need to remain grounded, right? Apparently now we're going sideways. Cool. Let's lock velocity to prograde here. We're just drifting at this point. So we would have made it, but we're struggling to get going straight again. No doubt about that. We are really struggling to get going straight. Apparently we go this way to go straight. Sure. I guess that seems reasonably fine. So we need to get back up to speed, but we hit the bug again. So this is definitely doable, but let's just reset that back to the beginning. We just needed to hold attitude for a little bit longer, like under a second. So this is a doable thing with this design. No doubt about that. Let's just get this turned. That did not turn quite as well. Okay. Let's retry that again. And let's just get this thing turned. We're facing an awkward direction to start here, but hopefully this time, yeah, we got it turned that time. Okay. So now we need to get up to speed and... Okay, that was exciting. That was very exciting. Now we need to get turned around over this direction. This thing really doesn't like to turn. No doubt about that. But we're definitely running into some physics bugs. Like that one, for example. That was clearly a physics bug, but let's see if we can get this turned again and get it back up to speed. And hopefully we just don't hit one. And we did. Okay, so this is definitely a viable thing. We just need to not hit these bumps, right? That's the whole thing. That's the entire thing. We just need to not hit the bumps. We'll get up to speed, but we need the physics engine to be stable for a bit. Okay, let's ramp these engines up get this up to speed, and hopefully this time will be relatively stable. I want to head out this way for now. Okay, we are grounded long enough here. We're going fast enough. And there we go. That did the trick. I have the brakes on, and the brakes appear to overpower the rocket, which is remarkable. I didn't actually expect that to work, but there we go. So let's just go ahead and recover this craft. 21K to recover. That is fine. So we got that finished, and it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we've got a whole bunch more jobs to work on, and we are definitely going to work on that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.